Hey, real estate agents, welcome to Making a Smarter Agent, your program to find out all the tips and trends as told by the great ones in real estate. What's a great one? Someone that's able to make money and still keep their head on straight. Let's face it, this is a tough business. We interview tough people who seem to make it look easy.
Hi, all, and welcome. It's Edmund. Welcome to Making a Smarter Agent. This is a weekly podcast which shines a light on the winners of real estate. Just what are they doing to do so well? We need to find this out. In a moment, we're going to meet Ivan Estrada, my multi-million-dollar man in California. But a couple of things just to note. Each of my podcasts gets transcribed to text and put up on our blog, makingasmarteragent.com. We also stream on all the major podcast providers, including iTunes. So please take a moment to give us a 5-star review and subscribe to this podcast so as to not miss any of the great interviews that we have in store. And attention Douglas Elliman agents, in early January, I will host a cocktail party in New York City. Please look out for my invitation to that. And to my Florida friends, please note this date, February 18th, starting at 4:30 p.m., I've rented the ballroom at St. Andrew's Country Club, where I will host a panel featuring Howard Wauber of Douglas Elliman and Bruce Toll, CEO of the Toll Brothers Real Estate. We're going to discuss the current national real estate climate and its ongoing effect on our economy. As always, with all of my events, it will be a bitchin' disco time. You can't miss it. And without further ado, Ivan Estrada, welcome.
Hey, thank you. How are you?
Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us. We've actually gotten together a couple of times in formats like this, and I'm always excited to hear about just what you're doing because I think you're doing it well. Just we'll back up for the audience who's largely made up of real estate agents throughout the country. Tell us about you and about, just your business and how you got started. Give us a little overview.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll be in the business in March. It'll be 9 years. Before I was in real estate, I went to school at USC for business and accounting and thought that the CPA route was going to be something that I would be interested in doing. And I actually did do it. I worked at a big CPA firm for about 3 years, got the CPA license. And then shortly after the third year, I just discovered, this is definitely not what I wanted for my path. It was the information and everything, the teachings and, work ethic that I learned there was invaluable, which has tremendously helped me in my career now as a real estate broker. But yeah, it's been 9 years. I love it. I have a team. I actually downsized the team to only one person, and we could talk about that later as well. And then restructuring and redoing adding some new people on the team starting in January. But it's been amazing. I was born and raised in LA. And it's every year it just gets a little bit more interesting here. Our market's been a little bit, in one word, funky. And so we're, I think everyone, not just at Douglas Elliman, but brokers in general, we're trying to restructure, how we do our business, how we're reaching out to, past clients, new clients. And, so far it's been a good year so far. Hopefully 2020 is going to be even better.
Well, we're going to get down to the nitty-gritty in a bit. As you'll be able to volunteer as much as you'd like. But first, I know you're kind of a ritual guy. I've been to conferences with you. I know you get up early. I know you work out. Walk us through what your daily routine is and what you think the importance of that is to your career.
Yeah, absolutely. So I usually wake up anywhere between 4:30 and 5 a.m. For me, waking up when it's dark is actually a very spiritual for some reason. I know, I've talked to other friends who, if it's dark outside, it makes them sad. For me, it actually makes me feel like I'm ahead. And so I love waking up when it's dark. I start with meditation. I usually do anywhere from, I would say, 10 to 15 to 20 minutes, depending on how much I feel I need. And then do some visualizations. I have a journal where I write about everything that I'm grateful for. And after that, I head to the gym. I'm at the gym for a good hour and a half. And for the first 45 minutes, I listen to my favorite music. I kind of just, dive right into the working out part. And then for the last portion, I always listen to podcasts or videos on YouTube or books on tape, books on audio, whatever I feel I need that day. If it's a tough negotiation that I see ahead, I'll search, negotiations in real estate, tough negotiations, or if it's something that I feel, that I feel like I need a little bit more motivation, then, there's certain people out there like Mel Robbins, Tony Robbins, Lisa Nichols, Oprah even, and I'll listen to some of that to really start off my day. And then after I leave the gym, then, I head to the office. And so for me, doing that every single day, it puts me in a very positive mindset throughout the day. So no matter what happens, negative or positive, I stay very, I stay patient, I stay in the moment. And so if, let's say shit hits the fan, I usually stay very stable and I'm able to make a good decision instead of something that, either emotionally or because I'm not in the best mood that I might make the wrong decision. And I've noticed when I don't do that, my day does not usually turn out the way that I want it to. So it's very important for me to do that, including I do it on the weekends as well. Just to kind of stay in sync and in flow.
Yeah, I know, and I know, and I was always impressed with how you have a routine and how you maintain that. Visualization, just again, I didn't plan to go down this route, but what do you visualize? Why don't you walk us through just a little bit of that, because I'm personally curious.
Yeah, so for me, I visualize what I want my day to look like. If it's for example, last Thursday, I had my annual client appreciation party, which we do every year. It's a really big event that we start marketing 2 months prior. And so, I think that night I probably slept 2 hours, just being a little anxious about, I just wanted everything to be perfect, my clients, the people that I wanted to show up. So that Thursday morning, as tired as I was, still did my routine. And I visualized what I wanted the day to look like. I wanted, everything to arrive on time. I wanted the people that I wanted to be there to be there. I was visualizing a successful event where everyone was having a good time, eating, networking with each other, taking photos. And so having that in my head, visualizing that morning, it really put me at peace and just kind of, and it's funny, everything just fell into place. Everything came out perfectly.
So it sounds like you're almost like a golfer, or sorry for interrupting, but this is kind of exciting. I mean, you're almost like a golfer or some type of top athlete, it seems like, because they always say that there's some type of real correlation between success at golf and visualization. So I spoke to a couple, that's really interesting stuff.
Yeah. Well, like I said, the visualization, it's funny. Like I at a podcast that I was listening today, that the mind sometimes doesn't know what is real and what's not. And so in my head, as I visualized that it already happened, I was already happy because everything came out perfect. Even though the day hadn't started, in my head, everything was perfect. Everyone who I wanted to show up would show up. The food showed up on time. The setup was beautiful. I was just happy throughout the day because in my head, it already happened. And when it did happen the way that I visualized it, it was just kind of like, it was just easy breezy. There was no stress during the event, and I was able to actually like be in the moment and stay in the moment and not just, especially at my own events, it's hard because there's so many things going on and you want to talk to everybody and you want to make sure people are having a good time. And, I was able to actually be present and I enjoyed myself a lot more than I have in the past when I've just, where my head's just all over the place in an event. It's kind of like it's there and then it's gone in 3 hours and it's like, wait, I don't even remember anything that happened today because I was just running all over the place and didn't get time to actually enjoy and be present at my own event.
Okay. Well, so again, the visualization works. I think it's something that I'm trying out. I'm relatively new to meditating and all this, and hearing it from a guy like you certainly adds a lot of credibility to it. Tell us just a little bit about your, we're going to get into, everyone is always curious, how do I get the phone to ring? I don't even know what to do to get that phone to ring. Or I don't know why sometimes my phone's ringing more than not. Before we get into the actual marketing, what are your 3 or 4 biggest sources of business? Where is it mostly coming from for you?
I would say number one is probably past clients. I have, at this moment, I probably have 179 past clients that I've worked with. These are not leases; these are just all sales, either on the purchase side or on the list side or the buy side. So I think because I've had all those past clients, I really make sure that, for example, this party that I had on Thursday, they were all invited. Every 6 months, I send them a report, a customized report on how their property is doing, like a financial advisor would review it with their clients every couple of months. I send a report very nicely binded with what's going on with my estimation on what their price is worth, and then also what's going on in the community as well, so they're aware. So I send those every 6 months. I do call them. I try to at least call my past clients every 2 to 3 months. I use contactually to remind me which clients I need to call every week, so that way I stay in the loop of what's going on in their lives. And when it comes time to buy or sell, they're going to think of me because I'm constantly reaching out to them. And they also get my newsletters. I'm connected with them on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube. So they're seeing all my the videos that I do.
We're breezing past all the good stuff here. We can't miss the dessert here. You reach out to them when you say you actually call them. How many calls are you making a day, a week, a month? Like let's talk about that for a moment.
Every week to my past clients, it's probably it's every week it's probably like 10, but those are just for past clients. But I mean total calls, Jesus, probably like 200 at least a week. Like my assistant every Monday, like today, she puts a follow-up sheet on my desk. Like I'm a true believer of like the hybrid of obviously having the tech, but it's also nice to have it in writing on my desk where I can actually check it off that I've reached out to this person. For some reason, it gives me some type of satisfaction than just pressing, going to my contactually and saying, okay, talk to this person, like actually checking it off on a piece of paper for me. I think for me, it has a different connection to me and more of a satisfaction than just clicking on a computer. So I use both, technology and also, the old kind of, I would say, business tactics of actually having a piece of paper on my desk. So it's given to me every week. Huh?
Paper's nice. Paper
is nice.
There was a comedian who once said, what if it was the other way around? And suddenly everyone said, ooh, what's that? It's called a newspaper. You could buy it for 50 cents and you could read it on the toilet. You could throw it away.
Exactly.
So, I think Jackie Mason said that act. It's something very nice about paper. I hear that over and over again. It's like suddenly discovered this.
You go back to to me, it's like, I'm 35, but when I read a book, actually flipping the pages, there's a sense of satisfaction to me than just pressing next on an iPad. Right. I guess it's just, old habit. But it's just, I do about I would say, maybe sometimes during other weeks, it might be 300 calls, but that's a combination of past clients, of referral partners, of people that we met at open houses, people that I had lunch with during the week, leads that we're getting on Zillow or Realtor.com. So it's a combination of different things, but phone calls, for me, it's always, I guess it's been the most, the one that I'm getting the most return on than just, all the other stuff that I'm doing. So definitely number one would be past clients. The second one is my referral partners. So, luckily I was very lucky to go to amazing school, and then I do have a business degree and a CPA license. So I go and I connect with other CPAs in my Los Angeles area, to other attorneys, to trust officers and business managers, and I network with them. I'm part of this group called Provisors, which they have in California, and it's a group of individuals that are in the providing services to clients like legal or accounting or finance or real estate, and so I get a lot of business from that group. We meet usually twice a month. The other one is social media. So, social media for me has been huge. As you know, I do these videos, the Real Estate Minute. I also just finished another kind of set of videos. It's the top 15 questions asked by sellers, buyers, investors, and renters. And I did a whole series on that, which I post on YouTube.
And we could see that by searching YouTube.
Correct, on YouTube. Yeah, they're on YouTube. Yeah, they're all on YouTube. So I have them on YouTube. I post it on my Facebook once a week. I post it on my Instagram once a week, and it's posted on the actual wall, and then also the stories. And I think, having a combination of the story and putting it on the wall, and then also having it on YouTube for people to search, it's very powerful. And I think it's a constant reminder to people that are following me on there who are, friends, who are referral partners, who are relatives, who are past clients, who could be people that I don't know, who could be future clients. I mean, they're constantly seeing these every single day. Every single day I'm posting, either myself at a broker's caravan or a new listing or one of my real estate minute videos or one of my, top 15 questions asked videos. So the social media for me has been huge because it's a constant reminder without saying, come and work with me, work with me, that I'm a real estate broker.
Sure.
So and did you ask for the top three? Go ahead.
Yeah, top three. Yeah, go ahead. Go. So we had the sphere of influence or the past sales. We've had your influencers, the partners, if you will. And what was the
third one? Social media.
So and the third one, social media. But social media to me many times it's an assist of the other two, don't you think?
It's a what?
Don't you think that it's almost an assist within the other two? That you said it serves as a constant reminder. So I personally, I'm just curious. Have you ever had someone say, "Wait a minute, a friend of mine has connected you on social media. I love your videos, and therefore, can you sell me a house or sell my house?"
Yeah.
Does it ever work that way?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
I get those. I get those a lot. I get people just that I don't know who are following me on social media, and they'll send me a message. I've been seeing your stuff for the last year or two or three, and you seem like the type of guy I would want to work with, and who I would want to represent me. And so these are people that I've never met before, and they might not even be connected to my sphere of influence or a friend or a past client. And so, I mean, that's always great for me to get those because I feel incredibly flattered because it makes me feel, wow, this is working. Because years ago,
they like you.
Yeah, well, and I'm fortunate for that. So it's I think it's a combination of everything, right? It's like trying to create the perfect storm, doing everything you can, for a common goal.
Listen, I love the videos, and I think that made me want to gravitate toward you because I think your true personality does come out. Let me just dig a little bit deeper here, and if I'm getting too far in your business, just you could tell us now. What do you wind up spending annually on social media and videos, or maybe you break it down separately?
It's probably a good $50,000, I would say.
$50,000.
A good $50,000, which is a combination. I think the part where I spend the most is on the advertising of these videos because, years ago when I would post a video on Facebook and Instagram as well, it would get a lot more viewership than it does now. And I think because of their constant changing in algorithm, I'm having to boost my posts on Facebook, promote my posts on Instagram and on YouTube. And it's getting a lot from what I would spend if I were to spend $100 on one, or that's probably unrealistic, a good $300, $400 to advertise one of my real estate minutes. I could probably reach maybe 25,000 people. With that same amount now, it's probably less than half of that amount. So I'm having to spend a little more on the advertising than the actual creation of the video. Because I think now, video is such a big thing, not just for real estate, but for all people in business. Doctors, attorneys, people in finance are now doing videos as well. And there's a lot more people providing these services, which has really brought the cost down. But because of it, now it's brought up the cost of actual promotion of your videos. Because now, I think Facebook got very smart, Instagram got very smart, and YouTube as well. And so they're charging a little bit more in comparison to what it was 2-3 years ago.
We'll have to have another meeting at some point about Facebook. I've been a big Facebook advertiser, and then one day everything changed where you can't target married or single. You can't target 18 to or 35 to 45 years old. Now they're really restricting you in those searches. And I found that in overnight, quite literally, it became a real challenge to get the results. But that's a story for another time. I am curious to hear more about this, but we have a limited amount of time. You mentioned two things that I want to touch on. One is your team change, which we'll get to. But before that, in keeping with the marketing, you're advertising on Zillow and Realtor. Talk to us about the budget, about the outcome, about just your overall experience with those two portals.
Right. So for Realtor and Zillow, right now I'm only advertising on Zillow. And my advertising for Zillow are for in areas where homes are less than $2 million. I think in this market, in the Los Angeles market at least, people who are buying homes for over $2 or $3 million already have either their brokers that they've been working with for a while, or they'll probably go and ask their CPA or attorney looking to buy or sell, who would you recommend? And that's why I network and with a lot of people in the law and CPA area. It's worked pretty well. I think the response time is very important, because anytime I do get a Zillow or lead from Realtor.com, sometimes they'll come in for free just because it's from Realtor.com. Just someone that went on there, clicked, and wanted to meet with me directly. As long as I respond with them within 2 minutes, I've had a good amount of success. Most of the Zillow leads, I would say 95% of them, they just go to the team. I primarily work with past clients, people within my sphere, people within my networking groups. The Zillow leads are something that I purchase for my team, for them to have leads come in and for them to, get some more opportunities other than open houses or other events that I'm having them attend. But it's been pretty successful. I've heard many different things from many different people saying, it's a waste of money, it's a waste of time. Obviously, these leads sometimes won't turn into an actual business transaction for maybe 6 months, a year, 2 years. So they're going to take a lot more time to, incubate, I would say. And, especially with the loyalty, you're really going to have to work a lot harder, because obviously with the referral from a friend or someone within your sphere, the likelihood of the loyalty is a lot higher than someone that you've never met before. But it's it's been pretty good, but I definitely have seen a reduction of leads come in this year alone. It's been 50% less leads or leads that I think are actual people who are interested and ready to buy and sell than it was last year by 50%.
And wow, at 50%, it's remarkable. What's the ad budget that you have on Zillow?
Usually it's like $2,500 a month. About.
Yeah. Okay. So you're in business, man. You're doing a lot of stuff. But you mentioned that some of the leads you'll send down to some other team members, and at the beginning of the meeting you said that there's been a big team change. Talk about that. What's going on with your team?
Yeah, so we were a team of 7. That's including my admin and my transaction coordinator. I've now reduced it to only a team of 4. So 3 people I had to unfortunately kind of part ways with. I think this year it's been a very complex year here in Los Angeles, and I would say probably California as a whole, which I'm sure people in New York City can relate as well. We've definitely had a large shift. The higher end market has been very, very slow. For myself, I've realized and noticed in the past since January, the amount of time that it's taken me to close a deal has maybe even tripled in time of the time commitment that it's taking for myself and my team. And also with, there's a lot of uneasiness with people, especially when it comes to an election year, on, they're hearing everything from the media, from their friends, from their relatives, and, don't buy, we're at the top of the market. Now you only get a certain amount of deduction to $10,000 on your property taxes, which is not worth it. Just keep renting, or, so it's been a battle for myself to have clients commit to either going through with a sale or a buy. I think this year, out of all my years in my business, As much as I try to really walk through with the client with their uneasiness or all their questions, I've had a lot of sellers list and then within 30 days change their mind and want to delist, or clients who were in escrow who then, I think the pressures from them watching what's going on in the media and the newspaper, what their friends are telling them, and then canceling within 10 days, just saying, I just don't feel comfortable. And I get what you're saying, and thank you for educating me, but I just don't want to buy right now. I'm just going to wait. So I think for my team, as much as I try to train them and to let them know that I knew this was coming, over almost a year and a half ago. Through either from my coach or just from seeing what was going on, in the world markets. And, I just don't think that there were newer agents, so they've only been in the business for less than a year. And so I just think they couldn't really handle the amount of time and work and effort that it's going to take in this new market to close a transaction. And so, it was hard for me to let them go, but it was something that I need to do. There's a certain amount of resources that it takes, especially when you're running a team, and not just financial resources, but also my mental resources. It's taking a lot more of my time and brain power to close a deal, to incubate with a client and walk them through the whole process than it did before. And so, I felt like I needed to really downsize the team, and in order to build it up for, 2020, which I feel now, when I started my team 2.5 years ago, it was my first time doing it. And, as much as I had amazing coaches and managers who helped me build the team, it's not until you actually do it and you actually run with your team for a good year to realize what it is that you actually need in order to make the team work. And I picked up a lot of things that I wasn't going to through a book or a coach. You actually have to live through it to realize, okay, these are the type of people I need on my team. These are the people that I don't need on my team, because, when things aren't great, you need to be surrounded by positivity and people who will still work hard no matter what the market is doing. And so,
Sure.
if people are not willing to put in the time and, and are negative about, what's going on out there, it's going to infect the whole team. And that's something that I just could not deal with.
What do you suppose the best way to compensate? I'm kind of torn, and I see different people now who almost have hosts or hostesses opening up spaces and not really having any brokerage skills. In fact, I know one guy here in Boca Raton, how legal it is, I'm not sure, but he has a hostess unlock the doors for him, and people could go in, and technically they're not allowed to answer any questions about the property. But my question for you is this: would you adopt a business model where you pay your staff who happen to have a license for their time and maybe give some type of bonus? Or does it work just purely on the commission? How do you actually compensate effectively when it comes to creating a team?
So my admin and my transaction coordinator, they're on a salary. So they're strictly salary. The people that were on my team were strictly commission. Based on their production level, we had different tiers on what our commission split would be, which normally for most teams, it's 50-50 starting, and then the scale then goes up from there. Like for us here at, Element, the more we sell, the better our split is. So I had something like that similar for my team. I think it depends on what your production level is. And, there's certain team member or team leaders that I've met who have adopted that new form of team, where they'll have 2 other agents on their team who are strictly on salary, and they're getting a bonus depending on their production. And, for a lot of agents and a lot of team members, their team leaders, that's become very beneficial for them. I mean, they have these newer agents who are on salary, and they're getting bonuses based on their production. And the team lead is now, depending on how much they're doing a year in production, they're making more GCI or net after their GCI than strictly being on a commission and a split with their broker, with their agents. For me, it's, like I said, it's only been commission based, but moving forward in 2020, that's something that I might explore myself.
Yeah, I'm hearing it more and more. And these team members, you're giving them the leads that you're not wanting, or you're getting them like exactly what's in it for them? Like that's just to coin a phrase.
What's in it for them? Yeah.
What do you bring to the table? Why am I even sharing my commission with you?
Yeah. So for the brokers who were joining my team, I haven't done an open house myself in maybe 3 or 4 years, and that's because all my open houses were for my teams. Even on the first week it hit the market, which is usually when we have the most amount of actual people coming through and possible, good leads of buyers or maybe sellers, they were doing all my open houses. So that was one thing. All the Zillow leads under 2 million were going to them. So anything that was over 2 million, which is very rare, would come to me, maybe one a year, but the rest were all going to them. I was the one who, as a mentor, they would get an hour with me once a week to go over their plan, what was working, what wasn't working. Also, with my actual coach, which I coach with Aaron Keith, he coaches a lot of the top agents here at Element and other brokerages as well. They would get time with my coach once a month to ask any questions that they would have on their own business. Also, my coaching sessions that are every Thursday, I would share everything with my team every Monday, everything. I'm very open and very transparent with my team about everything that I'm doing, because if it's working for me, I want it to work for them as well. And so, a big part of it is that part, is the mentorship that I'm giving them, which honestly is a lot of time. It's a lot of time.
It's a lot of time. It's a lot. Oh boy, for every employee, it's a lot. I get it. And that's why it was just more curiosity than anything else about just, I always say with the team, 1 + 1 needs to equal 3 for everyone. You need to know that the time you're investing is going to make you wealthier or give you more time, or preferably both. And so that's what I'm seeing from all of that. Well, the time has slipped away here. Anything else that you want everyone to know about you before we move on?
I think you got it covered pretty well.
Yeah, I really do appreciate your time. I really do love your videos. Ivan Estrada Properties. Out in California. And Ivan, I'm going to, with your permission, include your contact information within the notes of this meeting. For those of you, this podcast airs every Thursday of the week. We've got a whole host of other participants. I think Peter Hernandez from your office will be on next week. And, for those of you who are listening, I want to give a shout out to my sponsors, Organized Palm Beach, a phenomenal company that does home organization between New York and Palm Beach. I would imagine they'll go out to California as well as Rain Nation. That's REIGNATION. This is my think tank for realtors. If you're curious to see, if you could imagine, it is group therapy in a sense for realtors, and boy, do we need it. So please do sign up for that. Ivan, thank you so much. I hope to have you back, and I hope to have everyone else back every week.
Thank you for listening to Making a Smarter Agent. Do me a favor. If you liked Making a Smarter Agent, please go to Apple Podcasts or any of the podcast services you might be listening through and give me 5 stars. If you didn't like it that much, then don't even bother. You don't need to say anything. 5 stars is all that really works. I look forward to seeing you next time. And remember, connect with Rain Nation, that's REIGNATION, on Facebook. It's part think tank, part group therapy for realtors, all coaching, and it's affordable. Please tune in again next week to listen to another exciting episode of Making a Smarter Agent.